For a time, we tried to contact him by radio, but no response.
Yes, y'all. Welcome into the Friday night, late night happy hour edition of the Dumb Marks podcast, breaking down AEW's Revolution, scheduled for this coming Sunday. A little weird to have AEW pay-per-view on a Sunday night. I got used to them being on Saturdays, kind of like how NXT used to be. So completely different feel for this pay-per-view being on a Sunday night. However, looking at the card, Revolution last year was probably their best pay-per-view, top to bottom. It got high regards, high praise, and I think if we went over last week, if I remember correctly, during the awards recap, we did got rated number one pay-per-view for the year.
It did.
So interesting to see how they come out the gates. For this one here, it's a stacked card. We'll get into the predictions in a little bit, but I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on the Go Home show this week from Wednesday night, since there was a lot that happened, a lot that went down, a lot to lead into a pay-per-view, which was a little refreshing compared to other promotions and how they do Go Home shows, which just is basically another episode of Monday night or Friday night. Nothing special to get you excited for the pay-per-view, but what's everybody's thoughts on the Go Home show? Would you see Wednesday night? Would you like? What you didn't like? What are you excited for as far as the upcoming card on Sunday?
I liked Wednesday night. I thought it was actually a solid Go Home show. One of the better Go Home shows I've watched in a while, really.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was refreshing. Like I said, I have some excitement from the end of the end of Dynamite, not the end specifically, but just Dynamite ending as a whole. And then they right after went into the Countdown to Revolution show that they did, which was done really well. That production on those shows when they do them is almost on par equally with what WWE does. But for an hour-long special, breaking down each match, kind of get that HBO, 24/7 feel. Some of the other, UFC breakdowns that they do for their pay-per-view. So overall, got me really excited for the card. I'm excited for the matches, and that specifically on the Go Home show, a lot went down. I mean,
yeah.
It was filled with stuff, storyline wise for just regular Dynamite, and then obviously stuff for the pay-per-view. You kick off the show with Shaq and Jade versus Cody and Red Velvet, which I enjoyed the match thoroughly. I thought Shaq did well. Given his age, hasn't really been in a ring before. Had a couple stare-offs, maybe a one-off match here or there, but I thought Shaq showed up and did really well in the ring on Wednesday night.
Yeah,
he did his job.
Yeah, he played his part. He played it well too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He played a big monster, like
like interacting with the audience and all that stuff. With the Gun Club and everything, doing everything with the Nightmare Family.
I think it was like you don't really realize how big Shaq is, but when he walked out and kind of had to duck under the circle, the entrance that they come through, and comes out on that, and then he gets in the ring, and you're just looking at him, you're like, "Geez, oh man!" Just a mammoth of a human being.
Whenever Jade was posing, then he came out and stood behind her, and Jade's a big girl, and he was just behind her. Whoa!
Yeah, definitely. So. No, I thought he did well. Don't know if anything will come about with him getting back in the ring again. They had the little disappearing act in the ambulance after he got stretchered out when Shivani rudely opened up the back of the ambulance door to get a comment from Shaq on the match. So yeah, we'll see if he makes his return. You know, if he does later on down the road, it wouldn't surprise me.
Is he going to be the Hall of Fame announcement?
No, can't be.
No.
Can't be. No, not at all.
Tony Khan did say that it is a guy and it is a wrestler. Like,
okay, so yeah, I mean, like,
we got someone chiming in on that.
Hey, that's not a bad guess. It has been speculated out a lot with Lesnar. Technically, he is a free agent right now. He is not officially signed with WWE. I don't know if Brock fits AEW though. Would it be a huge get and a huge coup for them to pull Lesnar over? Absolutely,
it would be.
Are they going to come up more than $20 million? Because that's what he got paid last year by WWE to have 3 matches. So yeah, I don't know if I know Tony Khan's pockets are deeper than Vince's, but I don't know if he's going to drop $25 million for Lesnar to come in and do a couple shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, they have, like you said, they have the money, but I mean, Bobby Lashley's not scared to say the name Brock Lesnar right now. So usually, if you're not under contract, you're invisible to them.
Yeah, I mean, Punk already tweeted out that it's not him. Mark Madden here in Pittsburgh, of WCW fame from back in the day, prominent radio host. He said that it's going to be Kurt Angle, is who he predicts the signing will be.
No.
I'm not really sure, a Hall of Fame talent, like, that's a slim list from people that are available that I can think of off the top of my head, just running through names. Available free agents wise, Ryback was a hot name for a while there. I don't see him as a Hall of Fame talent.
Somebody said Ken Shamrock today.
No,
I mean,
because they didn't say Wrestling Hall of Fame, they just said a Hall of Fame.
And that's why I brought up to you guys, James Harrison, former linebacker from the Steelers, has a lot of clips going around about him training wrestling wise. So, he's
Tony made it seem like this is going to be one of those people that it's water cooler talk come Monday.
And he said that it was one of his favorite wrestlers
of all time.
So,
yeah,
I think that's us. It's us four going.
What if it's the Big Show just swerving and saying it's himself? Like, how big of a heat magnet would that be coming out the gate?
Well, hey, week 1, babyface and heel turn on the same week. Why not?
I liked him acknowledging that whenever he came out on Dynamite this week.
The first thing.
Yeah, you guys wasn't expecting this turn. Yeah, so I mean, hopefully. Look, I mean, it's been hyped up. AEW has done a good job with surprises as far as their signings and how they've rolled them out. Obviously, Paul White's a name that I wasn't expecting to see sign with AEW. Had no idea Sting was in the fold to even come back, given his situation and his history. Miro, I kind of thought was a done deal to them once he got released. But yeah, I mean, they kept Moxley hidden, although a lot of people were saying it. But I mean, it still led to a buzz because, John Moxley showed up in AEW. Like,
yeah.
I don't know who's out there, and maybe somebody that I'm just completely overlooking. That once they announce it, I'll go, how did we not see that one coming? But hopefully it lives up to the hype. I don't want it to be a complete letdown because. It has gotten a lot of the chatter and talk the last few weeks. So
I think CM Punk's always going to be that guy that just because of AEW trying to get him, he's always going to be there. I would love it if it's him. I don't think it will be, but you never know.
So you got two surprises. Besides the new signee that Paul White said in his announcement, Tony Khan they were supposed to announce the last man in the ladder match, Face of the Revolution ladder match, but they didn't end up doing that on Wednesday. So that's still to be determined as far as that goes.
Could it be the same person?
It may be. You never know. Maybe. I don't see Kurt Angle coming in and doing a ladder match.
I really, if it is Kurt, I really want to like to know how much he can go, because look how much he couldn't really go at the end of his WWE run.
Yeah, when he was done, he was done. Like, it didn't. It wasn't like, all right, he still has some in the tank. Like, he was done, and you can see it. Like, so,
and it wasn't because he just didn't want to. It's like he said, his body was locking up on him, and he just couldn't move the way he used to, and it's a shame, because I would love to see Kurt still doing it in the ring like he used to be able to, but sometimes time just isn't that courteous with people.
All right, on Dynamite, so yeah, we had the announcement there. Cody Shaq match was good. Shaq played his part well. I enjoyed the 6-man between Jurassic Express, Tully and FTR. Nice touch with JJ Dillon coming out.
The
old JJ throwing the shoe in the ring.
The shoe in the ring. This instant, the spring, the springboard suplex, just classic Tully. If he would have only gotten in the ring and did that move, it would have been worth him getting back in the ring.
I like whenever I forgot who was outside and he was about to fly through the ropes and he just walked away with like no.
Oh yeah, the stop and the little Tully strut. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
No joke. I literally lifted off my seat a little bit. Like, is he really about to do this?
Yeah, and then then you have the reveal, Shawn Spears back in the fold, officially joining them as a group now. What I found, the most interesting part of that, which we've talked about this months ago when we first started up the pod, Chris, was Arn Anderson coming out and throwing up a 4 Horsemen sign.
Yeah.
And JJ, JJ in the ring, Telly in the ring, JJ throwing it back. Dax kind of did it before the match and then pulled it down real quick. So, I don't know if they will get a 4th member in the group. Because right now, if you're kind of looking, classic Horseman lineup-wise, comparing it, obviously FTR would be your Telly and Arn. Shawn Spears would be your
Mongo.
Wyndham. He'd be your Wyndham, not Mongo. You crazy.
That's what you decide to chime in with.
Yeah, you chime in with a Mongo. You've been quiet for 13 minutes and you chime in with Mongo McMichael. This guy. But Tully or Shawn Spears can fit into that Wyndham role. But you're missing a Flair. that head of the group, that braggadocious character out there, and I don't know who you would bring in to be in that role.
So with Arn, do you think Cody could fill that role? Do you think he would be big enough for that, or do you consider him still a Shawn Spears level, like not there yet?
No, Cody.
I know where you're at, Jason. You don't even have to chime in on this one.
I think Cody could do it, no doubt about it. But he's so heavy with the Nightmare family that if he were to swerve them and join, and it'd be like the opposite of Dusty. Like, who in the Nightmare family is gonna step up to play the babyface in peril that the foil to the Horseman that Dusty was? Dustin's too. Not that he's too. Well, yeah, he's too old. So like, you're not gonna have Dustin do that. I don't know if there's anybody else there. I just don't see Cody. I see Arn turning on the Nightmare family and joining them before I see Cody leaving.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Jason. I know you got something.
I ain't got nothing. I'm good.
Why do we even have you on this? You don't even watch the show. So there was
He's
that.
WWE Jason for a reason.
Yeah, there was that, which was good. Then we have the theme throughout the show with the barbed wire, exploding barbed wire death match. Love the touch of having Oni to talk and go through it. You have the master of the match, the inventor of the match. They were able to pull old footage from some of those matches, and I felt like that was done really well to build and set up the match. I said my biggest worry about doing a match like this was that they weren't going to be able to build to it properly for it to be pulled off. And I think having him on Wednesday night and him talking about it and going in depth about it and breaking it down, I think that was a really nice touch for the build.
Yeah.
To go along with the actual breakdown of the history between them two, who realistically they've been tied at the hip since Moxley came into the company. So I'm sold on that match, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. Especially since they only announced it 2-3 weeks ago, it already felt like it's been like months and months, like a month build for like the match itself. It feels like it.
Right, and I think that's that's a compliment to them to be able to pull that off in a 2 to 3 week span. But it also goes back to having history in the short period of time that the company's been around, but it's not a continuous history.
Yeah.
So they've weaved in and out and have intersected with each other at multiple points, but it hasn't been just constantly thrown in your face for 5 weeks in a row, being involved in mixed matches, tag matches, singles matches, DQ matches, count-out matches, and then, we have a pay-per-view match.
And if you would have asked me 3 months ago when they had when Kenny Omega won the title, in 3 months we're going to have Omega and Moxley again at the pay-per-view. Do you think you're going to like that match? I would have said no. It's going to be built up. 3 months is going to be way too long, and it's going to be overplayed, and I don't feel that way going into the pay-per-view.
Yeah, not at all. So looking forward to that. Street fight, much of the same as it has been, build up between Darby and Sting and Team Taz. We'll see how that plays out. I believe we're going to get a cinematic version, but I could be wrong. They haven't hinted at that at all. And normally Tony Khan in press week leading up to a pay-per-view will divulge the details, and he hasn't said anything about it being cinematic. So maybe we're actually going to get Sting in a street fight.
I mean, after he took that power bomb 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, I mean, it's definitely possible it's going to happen in the ring.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So, all right. Anything else from Dynamite that caught your guys' eye before we get started here on breaking down the card?
Dive right in.
Oh, what'd you think about the main event and leading to the melee with the tag team battle royale?
I never care for their brawls whenever they make no sense like that. And that's how I felt that it was just a brawl to have a brawl. It didn't. That aspect of that brawl didn't hype me up for the event at all.
Were you upset that Hangman and Silver were the main event against Hardy and Mark Quinn on a Dynamite on a go-home show?
I wasn't expecting that. I either expected
fair.
the Cody Shaq or I expected the FTR Jurassic Express match to be the main event.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people were I was watching NXT live, how we alternate Chris week to week. So I had NXT on the draw this past Wednesday. So a lot of people in that comment section were saying, Heyman and Page are the main event, and you had Balor and Strong, but ratings wise, it didn't much matter. They completely crushed them. So there's that. Oh, before we break down the card, one last thing from Dynamite. I cannot buy the Young Bucks on the microphone at all. At all. Can't do it. Can't do it. It doesn't come off natural. It doesn't come off, the press junction of the press conference that MJF and Jericho had was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, I enjoyed the questions that were asked, the people they had to ask questions. Yeah, you know, Conrad, you know, representing grilling JR and bringing up Sammy Guevara, who would be a nice addition to the ladder match as the sixth man.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, bringing up Sammy Guevara and having him, you know, lose their mind over that. I felt it was a nice touch to show that it was Santana who was the mastermind behind taking out Papa Buck. To show, like I said, I need that LAX mentality.
Yeah.
And
give them something.
Yeah, if we're coming up with him being the mastermind and you know going down that road, give me more of that from them too.
Yeah.
And every time Bischoff comes with like a question, like these studious questions, it
always multiple parts.
Yeah,
and it's always him and Jericho, and them two are just great together, you know. But then the Young Bucks come out and they, like, you know, they're talking being personal and our dad who built us our own ring at 16 and this and that, like. Even the zinger on Jericho, where it was like, where would you know, without AEW, you'd be curtain jerking the opening match down in a performance center. Like, that's a good line, but it didn't have the same
impact.
Impact that a line like that should have. Like,
not like MJF's lines were during the segment.
You felt like MJF's lines worked or didn't?
I felt that they worked. I enjoyed the segment, the whole thing. I did feel that Young Bucks, you know, did take the segment down a slight. I didn't hate what their stuff was, but I can understand where you're coming from. You know,
I don't know. It's just
with their mic skills.
I don't know. It's just something about the way that they are on the microphone, and even on the countdown show that they played after. Like it, I don't know. In the match, you know, ring work wise, I'll watch Young Bucks all day long. It's just the mic work on Dynamite. Like on BTE, I enjoy them on BTE. I like them. Like, I don't know. It's just something. It just doesn't come off natural to me where it should, especially in this angle. Whenever it was that personal of a thing, when they take out your dad, to me, it shouldn't come across like it's forced. And that's how I felt on Wednesday night. Like they, you know. Was a fourth.
But we also discussed that last week, where we didn't think that whole thing with Papa Buck needed to be even brought into the equation at all, anyway. So, Jason, you keep looking like you got something to say. I mean,
are you like you look like you're ready to explode?
Yeah. Are you even going to give predictions tonight, or are you just going to?
I'll give some predictions. Look. I didn't watch the show, so I'm just sitting here and laugh like a kid.
All right.
So whatever I told you this morning was your feeling, right?
Pretty much.
So
we had it with some feet. And AEW got the back burner.
Well, thanks for being a dumb mark, and let's
you predict though. You predict.
Let's get into the card. Jesus.
All right, this is not going to be in any type of order. But the one thing that is going to be in order is we're going to start with the buy in the pre-show. First match is Riho and Thunder Rosa versus Dr. Britt Baker and Reba. Rebel.
Now, Rebel may be legitimately hurt, so Britt Baker may be able to select her own partner. Okay. I don't know if that's work or if that's shoot. I've seen indications of both, so we'll see if she can go. If not, interesting to see who Britt Baker will select as a partner for herself if Reba Rebel can't go. I think this is a good pre-show match. Like, I got no problem with it. You know, give women another showcase on the card. I think it'll be a good match. You know, all four of them can go. So I got no problem with it. There's history between, you know, Britt with Riho and Britt with Thunder Rosa, obviously. So I got no problem with this match being on the pre-show. I'll go baby faces. I'll go Thunder Rosa and Riho with the win.
Okay.
I will go with Britt and Reba Rebel. And I think it's time for Britt Baker's juices to start up and time for her women's title shot. So it's time for her to get rolling and Double or Nothing. I think she's going to get that title shot. So it's time to get her started.
I'm going to go Rosa and Riho.
Okay. I'm going to agree with Donald. I think it's time to keep moving Britt forward. I honestly expected her to be in the title match of the pay-per-view. So, yeah, I think, granted, you just brought Riho back to and she had her loss. So either way, you're getting someone losing that, they're probably going to try to build back up again. But I think there's more money to have on Britt than to put it on Riho.
All right. Let's hop into the main card in no particular order. Let's just run through it how we see fit.
We're going to start off with Miro and Kip Sabian versus Best Friends team of Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor this week.
Yeah, so I wonder if this was the original plan or if this was what they came up with after Trent got hurt. Not really sure about that. However, Miro's promo on Wednesday night seemed to indicate that he's done playing the games, as he said, and is going to bring the destruction. So let this be the finale of it. Let's get Miro up in the singles competition and get him running and elevate him up the card, because I would love to see a Miro Kenny Omega match. I think that would be something stylistically that people would be really into. But you got to get Miro going at some point.
Yeah,
his tongue down there.
I don't know. I'm just like, you putting that man in a class above his class. Card.
You don't see Miro. You don't see Miro as a main eventer.
No.
But you saw Rusev as a main eventer, right?
No, I didn't.
I was saying
his chant was over.
I know. I would say like you saw Rusev, but you don't see Miro.
I didn't see Rusev as main eventer either.
Mm-hmm. Wow, what about him? Technical difficulty.
This is going to be the recurring gag every week.
It only does it with this background. I'm going to have to stop using this background.
I go with Miro and Kip over there. With Steve, I'm ready for Miro to destroy people. I look for them to win, and then I look for Miro to turn on Kip and just beat up everybody in the ring. Like, I'm sick of this comedic act that he's got going on. So
that's kind of how I'm feeling. I'm gonna go with Miro and Sabian too, but don't put him above where he belongs. All right.
What about him does not? What is it to you that doesn't make him, or you don't think he can reach a main event status?
I don't think. He doesn't have the whole package.
Okay. All right.
I mean, his mic skills have gotten a little better, but I don't see him as like there yet. Maybe possibly down the line in a couple years. Not soon.
It would be hard to see Orange Cassidy lose on a pay-per-view. But I think in this scenario, I prefer to see Miro and Kip go over. Cassidy and Trent, and Chucky, they don't need it. Honestly, it's not going to hurt them to take a loss here.
I kind of see that. I'm hoping this is the end of this storyline, so I'm kind of expecting Cassidy and Chuck to win this match. Like you guys, I do want Miro and Kip to win because I do think it is time to finally pull the trigger on Miro. I'll agree more with Jason on this than Steve. I think he needs to get pushed, but I'd rather see him slowly build up and maybe start with a Darby Allin first rather than jumping up to a Kenny Omega.
But they get fans what they want. So
let me. I'm not necessarily talking about him going from a tag match on Revolution to him main eventing against Omega at the next pay-per-view. But I like the matchup. So like if it's something that develops and it pulls off, you know what I mean? Like stylistically, I think them two in the ring would be really good.
Yeah. When he debuted, what did they call him on AEW?
Man.
The best man.
he had a second name for him too.
I don't know,
Bulgarian Bruiser or something like that. But whatever, I forget what that name was, and I'll look that up for tomorrow. And that's what they need to get him to. Not best man gimmicky stuff. It's some
Bulgarian Brute. Wasn't the Bulgarian Brute?
That was WWE, wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah. So it was something like that. But
it wasn't memorable because the four of us can't remember.
I liked it when they did it, but that's the character he needs to evolve to finally.
It wasn't Ravish Rusev?
All right, what's next?
I think this is going to be Jason's favorite match on the card. The big money match between Hangman versus Matt Hardy.
Now look, Jay's going to shit on this because he doesn't like Matt Hardy.
Oh, definitely. But I'm a Hangman fan. I like Hangman.
Listen,
Hangman's my guy.
I have enjoyed this story. I've enjoyed the story. I enjoyed how we got to this point and how we're having a stipulation match that makes sense based off of the story they told. So like, I'm all for it. Like I'm glad it's happening. I didn't realize them two were as familiar with each other as they were. On the Countdown show, they went into the history of them and how Matt Hardy actually booked Hangman on Omega shows in North Carolina back whenever he was running Omega. So like there's a lot of history there that's 10 plus years in the making. So knowing that part of the backstory, the way that they've interacted leading up to this match has made even more sense. So yeah, I'm here for it. I got Hangman. To me, Hangman is that next level, Jay. He needs to be back up and given serious contention to being a number one contender, and him getting a build up to face Omega for the strap would be nice, considering all their history that they've had in AEW. So that's a story in of itself that can be told, and a good challenger for Omega. So yeah, give me Hangman going over Hardy and getting all the cash for the first quarter earnings from Big Money Matt.
I go with the same thing, Hangman for sure. Time to build up
his contract, but I'm going with Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't going to swerve us and pick Big Money Matt?
Oh, hell no.
Are you enjoying this version of Matt Hardy? This Big Money Matt character?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, when he talks, I just mute it. I can't take him at all. Like
which gimmick Matt Hardy you like the most?
Maybe when he was with Shane? Not Shane. Shannon.
Oh, the version one.
The version one.
That might have been the last time I liked Hardy.
No, that's whenever he was in WWE, so you wouldn't have seen anything in Impact. I shouldn't even ask.
You knew the answer before you asked the question.
I mean, the big money Matt gimmick that he's doing now is different than the Big Money Matt gimmick that he did in Impact. So like he's even taken that and turned it and twisted it into something that's completely different, and both of them work. I'm glad to see that the broken Matt Hardy version that came over initially. I think if the pandemic didn't hit, we would have gotten that character more because the crowd would have been there, and it would have been. I think it would have gotten over better. But without the crowd and everything else, and then the issues between him and Guevara and the stuff that happened in their matches that were unforeseen and dangerous for both individuals, that feud was snake bitten from the get go. So no, I like where he's at. I like what he's doing right now, and I think this is a good start for Hangman to get back on the right track again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he absolutely needs to start getting back on the right track because, when Jericho beat him for the title originally, we said the build for Hangman just needs to be slow and eventually get him to being, why do we care about Hangman? And I think 2020 and so far into 2021, we've gotten that. And, they played off the Dark Order stuff, and last week on BT, they did the thing of him basically saying that him and the Dark Order are like friends with benefits now. So
Right.
they'll support him, but he's not officially a part of the group, and I think that's perfect for him right now to be a part of. And while he's doing this, it does more for Hangman to win this match than it does for Matt Hardy to win. And I'm invested in this story with Hangman, and I'd want to see him keep going forward.
He got to lose the alcoholic gimmick.
I think it'll get there.
But it hasn't been as it hasn't been as prevalent as it was whenever he was whenever he was doing it with the tag team stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I know you still catch him in the bar every now and then on our promo.
Oh yeah, he's on the countdown show. He's in the bar holding a drink. But yeah, it's not being as prevalent. You know what I mean? So.
I think that'll be like when the light switch turns on for him, that we'll see that next elevation of him going towards the title and maybe leading to the match with Kenny Omega. We'll see a step back, but yeah, right now it is what it is.
All right, next match.
All right, next we're going to go into the Casino Tag Team Royale for a future AEW World Tag Team Championship match. There's a lot of tag teams in here. I couldn't list them all, so
yeah, I believe there's 10 tag teams total, 20 men. In the ring. And here's my question to you guys. So for those of you that don't follow along on AEW Dark, SCU said that the next time that they lose a match, they will no longer tag anymore, and that'll be the end of it.
Now is that
Kazarian and Daniels?
Daniels, okay.
Scorpio's off on his own.
Okay. I know it's a match.
So if they lose this match, does this mean that they're done, or no, because it wasn't officially like an official tag match? And two, is this the start of their run to go up against the Young Bucks, and the Young Bucks end up beating them, and that's how they retire? They go out facing the Bucks, and that a la Shawn and Rick moment type deal for Mania. They get their Bucks SCU moment, and the Bucks are the ones to retire them. Daniels is over 50. He does a lot of stuff backstage. He's the head of talent. Yeah, heavily involved with talent. So if this is their last run, I think I'm going to go with SCU to win this and start down that road towards that match.
Yep, I agree also too, because they have so much history with the Bucks, so it's only right for them to be retired by the Bucks. So SCU.
Now, how does this one work? Is this once your one person goes over, you're out?
Yeah, both members have to be eliminated in order to be.
Both got to be. Okay.
Yeah,
both. All right.
Okay.
So you could have the same tag team in there, or you could just have one member at the end of the match. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, SCU. My second one would be Phoenix and Pac. Would be a dark horse.
You'd be okay with that.
Not that SCU is not a dark horse, because they are, but yeah.
Jason, you got anybody?
I'm gonna just go Silver. I don't know who's all in it.
He's in it. Silver and
Reynolds. There's 3 Dark Order teams in this match, so Silver is in one of them.
Silver's and Reynolds.
Silver and Reynolds, Uno and Grayson, and then you have 5 and 10 are the 3 Dark Order teams.
Yeah,
I like Silver, so yeah, I'd be okay with him too.
He didn't make it serious.
I didn't. I didn't factor SCU in with that, Steve. I'm thinking more it's an actual match to eliminate them, but this could, if they do that story, I don't hate that. So yeah, if they win, I'm cool with that. My team that I'm thinking is going to win this match is going to be Santana and Ortiz. I'll delve into that more later.
Okay. I think I know where you're going to go with that, but I want to hear it and see. So,
all right, we'll go to the next one. This is the Face of the Revolution ladder match: Cody Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, Penta Zero Miedo, Lance Archer, Max Caster, and the mystery opponent.
This to me could be match of the night when it's all said and done.
Oh, absolutely. This
is going to be a It's gonna be one of those matches where you see something and you're gonna cringe because it's
for sure.
like,
for sure.
ooh, like I hope he gets up. You know, I'm going Scorpio Sky.
Okay.
It's gonna be SCU night.
What's that?
It's gonna be SCU night.
Obviously, you would Cody, obviously, right? Archer, who I think will be as a big man in a ladder match, I think he will do really well. Sometimes big men in ladder matches don't really work out that well, but I think he will be good in this. Me personally, my favorite is Penta, so like I'm always gonna pull for Penta, even though I just picked Scorpio. I just think like Scorpio's been out. He had a partial tear in his meniscus, so that's why he's been off the last couple months here. He was out on commentary. Now, whether that was just him coming out because of the build up against somebody else on the microphone, I just think you gotta. He's somebody that you can tell stories with. He's great in the ring. He's over with the crowd. So let's go with Scorpio to get back in the fold here and somewhat of a surprise winner.
I want Scorpio Sky to win as well, but in the back of my head, Cody Helmsley.
You going Hogan?
Is just gonna pull it out from underneath.
I really don't think Cody's gonna win this match. I have no, even whenever the first three names were announced and it was Cody, Penta, and Scorpio, I didn't initially go, oh, it's Cody. Like, why am I even going to watch this match? I don't get that vibe at all, honestly. I think it's going to be somebody new, somebody fresh to match up with Darby with. And I could be completely wrong, but I think Cody will do the honors and put over somebody in this match.
Okay, who is Max Caster?
He's from the Acclaimed.
Okay.
The one that raps all the time.
The only one. Okay. He's automatically out. And what is this for?
This is for a future TNT title shot.
Oh, TNT.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the big one last time? Wasn't it for the main belt?
They've done that, yeah.
Double order. Yeah, that was the double order.
It was the other one, okay.
Yeah.
For the TNT, I'm going. Cody was coming out the mouth. I'm going TBD.
Mystery person. Nice. Okay.
I mean, in pro wrestling, it's always whoever the last minute addition is can sometimes be the safe bet to win the match. We'll have to wait and see who it is to justify that. I'm kind of feeling Donald what you're saying. Something keeps telling me that Cody's winning this.
Cody's my second. Cody is
it's so part of the whole storyline between Team Taz and Darby and Sting has been that the TNT title has taken such a backseat with Darby. He brings the title out, but they just haven't had him defend it week in and week out like they had done previously with the TNT title. So I don't know if they're going to wait for this match, the street fight to end, and then start elevating him a little bit more with the title, or if they're going to go another direction to just put the title on somebody else. But yeah, my gut's telling me Cody.
All right, who's your guess for TBD? 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Donald just got done making shrimp and grits in the kitchen. He was going to take that out before we started.
Is that TBD?
Oh man, that's great. That's great.
All right, let's go into the street.
You're throwing up the street fight, but who's your guess for the mystery person?
Oh, I don't know who it's going to be.
Oh, Will Hobbs could be TBD.
Yeah.
Could be.
It could be, yeah. It is not Will Hobbs. It's Powerhouse Hobbs. Get it right.
I'm going with Sammy.
Sammy?
Is it TBD?
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. Yeah,
I'll say whoever the new signing is, that's who it's going to be.
That's Big Show, Dan.
All right, street fight. Team Taz, Darby Allin, and Sting. This has been ongoing for forever. They cooled it off for a couple weeks and then picked it back up, so it gave it somewhat of a break to catch a breath and not feel like it's just been constantly the same thing for 3 months straight. But I don't see. I mean, this doesn't go any other way besides Sting and Darby going over.
I don't see Sting and Barry again.
This isn't WrestleMania booking. Sting's going to win his first match in AEW.
Yeah.
No. Starks in cage.
We can only get 3 out of the 4. Huh? Only 3 out of the 4.
No. This little honeymoon is over. Well,
you're just a hater.
When was there a honeymoon for you?
It's done. God.
I will say, hopefully, I don't know how many times we're going to see Sting in a ring, but this entire match, I am going to be just nervous.
Cringing.
Every little thing, and we talked about it on the pod before. It was the same way when Daniel Bryan came back. It was the same way when Edge came back. Hopefully over time and the more matches that he has, I don't expect him to wrestle a full schedule like Edge has before Edge tore his tricep or his pec, whatever it was. But it's going to be uncomfortable watching this just because I'm still nervous that one bad bump and it's going to be really bad. So
especially
he's passed all the medicals and everything else, and like I said before, I really don't think they would put him out there if it wasn't 150% medically cleared from multiple doctors. So yeah, but there's no way they lose this match. No way.
I'm hoping they take it to the parking lot.
So I said, so we'll see. Would you prefer a traditional street fight, or would you prefer the cinematic style street fight? And cinematic, it could be even like how the parking lot brawl was cinematic between Best Friends and Santana Ortiz.
With Sting, I either prefer cinematic or in the ring street fight. Do not go anywhere near anything outside. No boiler room, no parking lot, no locker room, none of that. No gorilla.
After how well they did the first, street fight, I would like to see that be the focus more. But Jason, at the same time, I can understand where you're coming from with that. And I can definitely justify that. It being more of a controlled element than, a wild card.
Who you got, Chris?
Oh, I'm going Darby Allin Sting. I don't see there being any other. I agree with you guys. 3 out of 4.
All right, let's go. Next match.
All right. That's going to take us into the title matches for the night. So we'll start off with the AEW Women's World Championship of Shida versus Riho.
This may be a sleeper match of the night when it's all said and done. Story leading into this. Obviously, we had the Women's Eliminator tournament. Surprised that Riho, she was the one that came out as the winner. But their interaction after she won and them throwing forearms at each other's face got me ready to go. So, I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be strong style Joshi wrestling that people in the States aren't used to seeing women do. So
I hope so.
It'll be a breath of fresh air for their women's division for that type of match.
I'll go with Shida.
Hopefully they let them go like they do over there, because it seems to be toned down over here, and they're you can see the difference when you watch them wrestle over there or in their indie promotions than when you see them on AEW.
Which is crazy because Omega runs the women's division along with Brandy and Dustin, who works with them, in ring and promo wise. But you would think based off of his tenure in Japan and being so prevalent, with the Joshi wrestlers over there that
it all correlate.
Yeah, it would correlate and it would come across. And maybe it's just because we haven't had the right matchup in the ring to do it. Like I said, I'm hoping this is the match where that style is shown, because I really think it'll show their women's division in a different light if you have that style, hard hitting, fast paced.
Yeah,
knock your block off. It'll be talked about, like I said, as a sleeper match of the night.
And their women's division, it needs a shot in the arm. It does.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And Shida was supposed to be over in Japan the whole time while the eliminator matches were going on. So, in a way, she had firsthand. I don't know what her history is with her already. They could have fought numerous times in the past.
Yeah, they have history, and then it was Shida, her, and Riho were the 6 women that were in the initial 6-man women's tag match back at what was it, the
All Out?
Was it All Out?
Yeah.
And they won. So yeah, I mean, I'm going with Shida as well.
Shida.
I think the big money feud is her and Britt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to see that being the build up for Double or Nothing. I agree. Shida's retaining. I don't know if Riho here is going to be sticking around after this, or she has to go back to Japan, but I'd be surprised if they took the belt off Shida.
All right.
Next, we'll go into the AEW World Tag Team Championship match of the Young Bucks versus Jericho and MJF.
As you can all see, Chris is confused. He has an MJF scarf and a Cody Rhodes shirt, so he's still hoping that budding friendship turns back around. Sorry to say, I think Jericho and Cody is a much better friendship, than Cody and MJF. Like I said, the feud, the build up, it's been so for me. Do I think it'll be a good match? I do. Do I think there's multiple ways they can go, which can lead to multiple storylines coming out of this match? Yes. I think the Young Bucks will retain because this will lead to some stuff with the Inner Circle. So I don't know, Chris, if that's where you were going with picking Santana and Ortiz earlier. But yeah, give me the Young Bucks to retain, move on, and then we start to getting the true implosion of the Inner Circle being kicked off here.
I'm kidding, man. This is a hard one for me. It's a toss-up. I can go both ways. Like the Young Bucks could retain, or I could see Jericho and MJF taking the belts, and then Ortiz and Santana getting jealous, like, of the title shot they got, and they couldn't win, and MJF and Jericho got the belt. So I'm at a push. I don't know who I could pick.
I'm going to go Young Bucks. They're going to carry this match. And I don't want to see them put belts on another thrown together a WWE tag team.
2 singles coming together?
Yeah. You don't need another one. You're stacked in tag teams. Use them.
Yeah, Jericho.
Valid point.
Jericho brought that up on the Countdown show after Dynamite and said, I'm a singles wrestler in a tag team match. Have you Googled me lately? Like I'm a 7-time tag team champ. He said that on Dynamite. I get it. You're throwing 2 singles people together, although the storyline is a little different. How those 2 singles got together, it's not just traditionally how we've seen it done in the past. So there is some backstory behind how they got together. But yeah, I agree. Your tag team division is stacked. You have multiple teams that are true tag teams. So let them get their shine, and like I said, work off other storylines with MJF either trying to take over the Inner Circle, however you want to go with it. But I think that's the bigger storyline that'll play out from this is Inner Circle beef.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going with this. This is the match where I see Sammy returning, and I think he's accidentally going to make Jericho and MJF win this match. I think he's going to return to try to cost them the match, and it's gonna turn on him. They're gonna win the tag titles, and then, as I said before, Santana and Ortiz are getting the title shot. That just the storyline of the imploding of the Inner Circle just continues over the coming months.
I won't be if you're gonna go that way and it ends up with Santana Ortiz with the belts. I'm fine with that. If that's not the way you're gonna go, then,
I definitely
then let the Young Bucks retain, and like I said, you can work towards that SCU storyline.
Yeah.
If Chris correctly calls this match, with all that.
So we're not going to publish this after we're done. This way we can't say that it went anywhere. All right, shall we go on to the main event?
Yes, sir.
All right, the exploding barbed wire death match: AEW champion Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley.
We've hit on this throughout the night tonight at different points, talking about it. I am very interested to see how they pull this off.
Yeah,
like I said on the regular pod, I believe it's a match that can be pulled off in wrestling if done right in today's wrestling of 2021. Great touch, as I said earlier in this prediction show with Onita, talking about it on Wednesday night. The build up, the storyline. It's good that Omega was the one that selected this match, as we talked about on the pod last weekend, liked him being the one to call out the match and set it up. So I think this will be the culmination to Omega Moxley for now. Put them two behind each other's rear views, have them go different ways. But I see Kenny Omega winning this and moving on to bigger and brighter things.
Yep. Omega with the win. Time to put Moxley to bed. He's been in the main event picture extremely too long for me.
I am over Extreme. What was it? CZW watched?
Yeah.
I think that may be the last thing I'll watch. I'm gonna go with Omega. He beats Moxley in his atmosphere.
Yeah. I agree. I don't see Moxley retaining or regaining the title in this match. I see Omega retaining. I don't know when Renee's due, so I don't know. Yeah, at some point, John's gonna have to take some time off. Whether it's upcoming or still a few months down the road. But if this is the way they write him off a little bit, that would make sense. But other than that, Kenny needs to step up and do what he said he was going to do a few weeks ago. He needs to become the collector. It's time to move on with that and start addressing that.
All right, I'm good with that. So we got a clean sweep for Omega. No pun intended there. So looking at this card, overall, just off the top of your heads here, what do you think match of the night will be?
I'm going with the ladder match.
I agree. Ladder match.
No particular reason. I'm just going with the ladder match because I just think they always team. Any ladder match seems to steal the show.
And I mean, the ones that we have seen in AEW so far have all been really good. Whether it was the Young Bucks versus Penta and Phoenix. We had the ladder match where Cage debuted and freaking Chuck Darby like a shot put out of the ring into a ladder. So yeah, I mean they've done ladder matches well. So it's not a bad pick at all to go with the ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you got.
Everybody's a ladder match.
I mean,
it is. That will be it.
I mean, it's the one that makes the most sense just looking at the card, right? Like,
I mean, there's definitely possibilities for other ones to steal.
Oh, for sure.
Show,
like I said, the women's match to me, if it's done right, that one could definitely be the one that steals the show. Jericho and MJF and Young Bucks, don't know if if MJF does more of the work in that match, that has potential to be there as well. You can't throw Moxley and Omega in there because the match is so different. I don't think that you would put that in a match of a night type category. That's going to be something that's going to be rated and looked at completely differently when you're going back through and reviewing the card afterwards. So
that might have a moment of the night.
Oh yeah, moment of night for sure is going to either be the ladder match or that. Like there's no doubt about it. Now I will say, I believe typical or usual exploding barbed wire death matches has a 15-minute clock on them. It counts down to 0, and then everything explodes, minus the stuff that goes off during the match itself. But that's the big payoff. So I don't know if they will put a clock up for it and do it and go back to like true original barbed wire deathmatch stipulation, or they'll do something different and put their own twist on it.
I don't need the clock, but I could see them going traditional in this sense for how they've been building it up.
Well, if you go the clock, do you do 15 minutes or would you make it longer?
Isn't there regular 20?
I know when Bully Ray and LaGreca were talking about the match initially after Omega announced it, they were saying that it was, typically it was 15 minutes you get put up there and then you'd have the countdown to 0. So I think if you're going to do the clock, I'd say you would go. I wouldn't go any more than 20, which for an AEW main event, 20 is short. But I think given the style of match, I don't think you go any longer than 20.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's the show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know. Give us your predictions, your breakdowns on the card. We're either going to come off really smart, but as the name says, we are dumb marks and probably got none of this correct. Thanks for tuning in. Join us live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time for your regular Saturday brunch as we talk all things in sports, pro wrestling, drink some beer, movies, TV, game shows, everything of the likes. And until next time, you can catch us around the way.